Hi, fashion dolls. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. It is Transformation Tuesday, July 2nd, and welcome to an all new show. Now, today is a very memorable and legendary and historical day. I'm going to go back in time and read you guys why. Before we kick off today's interview and show, I'd like to give a very special shout out to all of you fashion dolls for checking out the interview on One Mic Night with Marcos Luis. Thank y'all all so much for coming through and just showing me love. But today is also Thurgood Marshall's birthday, so wishing a very happy heavenly birthday to the first Black Supreme Court Justice. We need, in times like this, and I touched on this yesterday when I did my rant, and it's very important that we let our voices be heard now more than ever. And also on this day, today marks 60 years since the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This is a groundbreaking step in prohibiting discrimination based on race, sex, religion, gender, and or national origin. And it shows you that today, still in these times, in this climate that we're in right now, we are still fighting. So the fight continues on. And that's why it is important this November you let your voices be heard. I just wanted to start the show off by saying that. And I don't apologize for anything that I said on that rant yesterday. Rightfully so, as it pertains to Donald Jackass Trump. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest back to the dollhouse for his second interview, Fashion Dolls, Mark Robinson. So there we
Hey,
are.
hey, Miss Stevie, how you doing, beautiful?
I am doing wonderful, handsome. Welcome back to the dollhouse.
Yes, thank you
Second
so much.
time's a charm.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me back. It's
Yes.
such a pleasure.
Wait a minute. There we are.
Okay.
We're back. So I'm trying to get my earbuds right.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Kind of broke up a little bit.
Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. All right. There we are, fashion dolls. Welcome. So we are now in the month of July. We did our very first interview, I want to say, back in April.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened since then? What extra has happened since then?
Oh, wow. Where do I begin? So, what has happened since then? So much has happened since then. Still making moves, still working hard. I've done a few more projects in between there, a few stage plays, starring it as well as directed. Still working on some film projects as well in between. And actually, since then, I had my first documentary that I had an opportunity to be a part of. Actually, been released on Tubi and Prime, Amazon Prime.
Yes,
Thank you,
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. And the name of it is Hope of Escape. It's based on a true story, and it's about the slavery times. Had a young lady. She reached out to me. She was telling the story of her ancestors and how they were able to navigate through the slavery times, and how they went through that struggle for their freedom. And I know when you first came on, we talked about Black history and giving
Oh
paying
yes.
homage to those that paved the way. So yes, it's amazing. So yes, it's then I had the opportunity for that to be released. So yeah, so I'm still working, still making moves, keeping it going.
Yes. And this documentary is prevalent in this era that we need right now because of the current climate that we are in. That's crazy.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so it's definitely it's making a statement, and that's where we're at now. And it's really taking a helm of what we've experienced and what our ancestors experienced, and say move forward. I'm not gonna deal with the things that my ancestors went through or experienced, breaking that generational curse, and that's what our main motivation and our determination is as we continue to grow from here.
And It's so crazy that you mentioned slavery. I told you guys that I was going to bring the books that I was talking about yesterday when I did my rant
Mm-hmm.
on my live yesterday about the outcome of what happened with the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been talking on colorism for the past few weeks with the whole situation involving Netta and Charles, and you guys have seen it. The first book is called The Skin I'm In, and
Mm-hmm.
it touches on one specific character. This young lady in this book has been teased and bullied. Just to give you a synopsis on this book. Now, I read this in middle school, and I can't believe I dug through the archives and found it. This young lady that you see on the cover, well, the model or whoever, the character has been teased about her skin complexion throughout school years,
Mm-hmm.
and she falls in love with this guy. This guy loves and appreciates her for her skin tone, and her family treats her a little differently as well too. So it's a very powerful story. It's by Sharon G. Flake. It's called The Skin I'm In. It touches on colorism.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is one we definitely need to. It's a little has a little bit more nuance to it. It talks about the color complex, and it breaks down colorism from all the way from slavery up until now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been touching on colorism for the past few years on this platform.
Wow.
So it's more than ever that we educate ourselves, and you guys
Absolutely.
can go and check it out. And the book is from Kathy Russell, and you can get it on Amazon. It's called The Color Complex,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about colorism, the politics of skin color amongst African American, and what keeps us
Mm-hmm.
divided based on skin tone and featureism and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things. So these are
Mm-hmm.
two books that you guys definitely need to go and check out and read. So I think with you doing this documentary, touching on it, and then also another thing, seeing people from Tulsa, Oklahoma, that these people were supposed to be in talks of getting reparations,
Mm-hmm.
and the courts turned them down. They didn't receive it.
Mm.
So I think this documentary is needed right now in this climate that
Yeah,
we're in, because
absolutely.
people are in times of uncertainty and they're not
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting that you say that, because even in this documentary, when you look at the colorism, a lot of times we
Yes,
look for the black face, and it's amazing, to see that, what I'm saying, even with the skin tone, because you would look at it and you'd be like, well, I wouldn't think that, her ancestors, but actually looking into her ancestral history and seeing, actually speaking to her and connecting with her as well. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Because sometimes in film, a lot of times you don't get to see the whole picture through, the whole thing, the whole scenes through,
absolutely.
everything. So it's like you go in, you do your part, and you leave. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And it's depending on how big of a role it is. So in this film, I actually was one of the family friends who helped her while she was going through her transition from being free from slavery.
Yes,
And I was there, to support her at that time, to take her in, because her family was running from, that situation that they were in. But, like I say, when you say colorism, and I'm looking at her and I was like, wow, I did not know. And then actually seeing it all come together, I was like, oh, I had the opportunity to be a part of something that I knew slightly, but I didn't know the whole details of it. But seeing the whole thing from the beginning to the end, I was like, oh, okay, it's interesting. But and like you say, even when it comes to colorism, we're not only divided, what I'm saying, we have been separated as a minority, but even in our culture, in our own, when it comes to our own race or our own culture, sometimes we're divided, like you say, because of the color of our skin, or because of our, excuse me, or our differentialities. You know what I'm saying? What sets us apart from everybody? I'm like this, may not be like this, but it's separate. It still separates us. But of us coming together and saying, hey, that's how we, what I'm saying, that's how we grow, and we supporting one another, no matter what walks of life we come from, no matter what we experience, no matter the color
absolutely.
of our skin. But even in families, you have those separations, because I'm darker than you, or I'm lighter than you. I think I'm better than you, or and this is something that we've always, a lot of people have experienced, whether it be the color of your skin or you being different from everybody. So that's interesting. I love those books, and I'm definitely going to check those out.
Absolutely, especially the color
Hmm.
complex. It's a
Hmm.
chapter in there called Embracing Whiteness. And it talks about the extent
Hmm.
of things that we as African Americans go through
Yeah,
to try to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Assimilate with what society sees as
exactly.
beautiful.
Hmm. Societal
And
norms, or
yes,
accepted.
featureism.
Yeah.
Featureism is a thing too, where people, I have almond shaped eyes, I have a big nose, and I have full lips.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that other women would typically go to a surgeon and pay for
Right.
it to get. And we
Mm-hmm.
know which women those are.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Absolutely.
again, embracing whiteness. But the crazy part about it is women will also, I've seen this documentary where these women were bleaching their skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, why? And it's to the point where they look unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
So again, working in the beauty industry and in the fashion industry as well too, I've seen it all from watching documentaries,
Mm-hmm.
from just sitting back behind the lens firsthand
Yeah.
and getting a better understanding of what the models have to go through. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot when
Yeah.
it pertains to colorism. It
Oh
dates
yes.
all the way back to slavery, and it talks
Absolutely.
about the Jim Crow era, all of these
Mm-hmm.
things, it
Yep.
ties in there. It falls on that scale of white supremacy. So
Absolutely.
it's important that you pick up this book, The Color Complex. I'm telling you, it
Mm-hmm.
breaks everything down. And it also talks about why do African Americans get chemical
Mm-hmm.
peels and all of these things. There's a chapter in there for that.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's good. That's good. And it's needed. It's needed. You know what I'm saying? To bring awareness to where we are and understand where we are and who we are. You know, when we get to that point of our awakening, you know what I'm saying, and understanding exactly who we are and not comparing ourselves to others. And that's the thing, because it's always that self comparison. It's not only just comparison to other people, but sometimes we compare ourselves to ourselves as well. Well, I'm not like this, I'm not like that, you know what I'm saying? So I can't, or I may not be able to flow, or I may not be in this vein, or I may not speak like this person, I may not look like this person. So let me, but no, how, you know, how do we get to the point where we strengthen that which we have? You know what I'm saying? We look at, so we focus so much on what we don't have, and we miss out on what we do have. So we're losing all of that time focusing on the negative part of us, instead of turning on the positive side of us, and growing from there. And that's the one thing I've learned in my journey. You know, growing up with a family of six, I was different from everybody. I think we just spoke about this the last time, but different from everybody.
sure
I didn't
did.
do the things I'm three brothers and two sisters, so I didn't do the things my brothers did. I was pretty much a loner. But, I was like, okay, I try to be something that I'm not, to fit in. And that's what we do. Like you say, that complex, what I'm saying, bleaching our skin, trying to be something that we're not, but we not understanding that we're beautiful just to who we are. But we don't understand, and we don't know who we are. And when you don't know who you are, you're going to find yourself in those situations where you're going to go to the extremes to fit in. And I'm like, I got to the point where I was like, no, I can't do it, because it took a lot more energy to be something other than who I am, who God made me. Yeah. But
Absolutely.
if we focus on that, then we can be a whole lot further than where we are.
Authenticity is
Mhm.
key. And I tell people this all the time: be the best version of yourself, your
Mhm.
own best version of yourself, because
Yes.
authenticity is key. And I had a guest on the show ask me, it was Jonathan. I've had so many
Yeah.
Jonathans on the show. All I know is his name was Jonathan.
Hmm.
He asked me a question when we did our Turn the Table segment. He
Okay.
says, what sets you aside from other hosts?
Hmm.
I said, personality. And another thing is, I stated myself, I don't get involved in the drama. You've never read about me being somewhere in the middle of
Hmm.
drama or beefing with somebody else that does the same exact
Right.
thing that I do. Um, I tend to just go on and do my show and go on about my day.
Hmm.
Other than that, what sets me aside from other hosts is my delivery. I try to do it in a way where it's cutting edge and not just
Right.
with the fashion, but it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Hmm.
And it makes people want to engage. Someone
Absolutely.
has told me, messaged me and said, your platform is informative.
Hmm.
You bring awareness to things.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
That's my job, and I want to continue to keep my black
Yeah.
job, as he can say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I want to keep doing, is bringing awareness to everything that is going on in the world, everything that is keeping us oppressed and marginalized,
Hmm.
things that are put into place that can be harmful to us. So that's
Right.
what I want to do. And I do it in a way where it's fun and it's not all the
Hmm.
time serious. I want you
Exactly.
guys to have an escape. So I really don't touch on the craziness that goes
Yeah.
on this platform every now and again, but I try to do it in a way where it's nuanced, where it's
Mhm.
fun, where it's
Mhm.
okay, okay, we
Yeah.
get where she's coming from.
Exactly. And that's what I love about your platform too. I was like, even in, previously when you even reached out to me, I had a chance to look at some of your previous work or your interviews that you've done in the past, and even um, participating in some of them that I was able to get on. And it's always been positive. And that's the thing that we need, what I'm saying, as a people to uplift each other. And it's enough negativity. You know what I'm saying? There's enough of that whole,
Yes.
mess going on. Okay, worrying about who's doing who's doing what in the industry, who's not doing this, who's not doing this, who's not striving, where everybody's at. But okay, where we are now, where are we now? Can we bring awareness to that and then say, okay, let's make this happen.
Right.
Let's continue to strengthen each other. You know what I'm saying? Up there, and that's where we fall short. And now, even in one of the production companies that I have had a chance to, have a chance to be a part of is called Reclaiming Our Time. And that's the thing that we're trying to bring, as well as when it comes to the arts, the theaters, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we're set apart because of the color of our skin, you know what I'm saying? Or we can't, it's hard to get certain parts because you don't fit this role, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, so theater can be a bit iffy, but you know what I'm saying? But it's now us getting together and say, hey, and not only breaking that mold, but still inviting or enlightening others as well to say, hey, you know what I'm saying, we can get together as a people and do a positive thing, and not just in our own community and our own circle, but in the broader community. You know what I'm saying? What can I do for the youth? You know what I'm saying? Because they are
Absolutely.
affected by a lot of this stuff, about a lot of things that they see. So now it's like, okay, how do I bring awareness, or how do I bring them in to cultivate those things that they don't understand or that they don't know, or grab them before they get into the industry or they get into this point
Yes.
where, what I'm saying, it gets messy. You know what I'm saying? They taken advantage of, or so it's a matter, really grabbing a hold of that, because they are not only our future, but they are our present. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's, me, as a single father, raising a 22-year-old. So I'm constantly encouraging him as well as that, because he gets into that mode. Sometimes, so I have to break, because I know I've been there. I'm like, no, you're not going to experience the same thing I experienced. I don't want you to walk through the same issues that I walked through, or the things I experienced with depression, stress, and things like that. So I have to catch a hold of it real quick, So as we, as a people, if we grab a hold of that, like I say, the comparison between the skin color, or am I smart enough because I don't, meet this mark, or I'm here, or I don't catch on to things quickly. So it's really grabbing a hold of that now, and that's what I like I say. That's what I love about your platform. Here now, this is what we need. This is what our community needs to grow, to show that we can come together as a unit and still strengthen each other without tearing each other down. Because now they don't have to do it, because we're doing it to ourselves. But it's great that this is where now we see that a lot of people are coming to that awareness. Okay, it's time to stop, and it's time to give more. We got to do better, not do better. We got to do better, not just our best, but we got to do better.
Absolutely. I agree, Mark, with you on that firsthand, because we're seeing with everything that's going on, these policies that are being put into place that can
Mm-hmm.
be harmful to all of us
Yeah.
as people of color who are marginalized. Uh, Now would be the time to work together
Mm-hmm.
more than ever,
Yeah.
as because our lives definitely depends on it. And someone messaged me today. I was in the process of getting ready for for our interview,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
getting hair and makeup done or whatever, and she liked my stories. This young lady that I was talking to liked my stories because I've been talking about it throughout this
Mm-hmm.
week about what's coming, this thing that Republicans are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she says they're literally trying to destroy democracy. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, with
Yeah.
what they did with him, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but they want to keep people who are marginalized and oppressed silent
Mm-hmm.
and quiet. Let
Yeah.
them suffer
Yeah.
because their guy lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all of this anger,
Yeah.
all of this is coming
Mm-hmm.
from the other party.
Yeah.
It's not the Dems too much,
Right.
but it's coming from that other particular
Mm-hmm.
party. So
Mm-hmm.
we we got a lot of work to do. November, it's time to show up and show out. They even showed polls guessing and predicted. I've been sharing a lot of information to my stories.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of everything in the stories, fashion, everything. But of course, I want you guys to be aware of what's going on and what they're trying to plan.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Absolutely.
and yeah, this is
Absolutely.
not going to be good for a lot of people, and I try to get people to realize that, but I also want people to have an escape. I want you guys to have an escape where you don't have to worry about what's going on in
Yeah.
the world. So I try not to touch on it. I try to do it in a way, if I do touch on it, I touch on it briefly,
Briefly,
but
right.
I do it in a way where it's fun, so
Mm-hmm.
that people be like, okay, she gets where we're
Yeah.
coming from. We don't like him either. Yeah, never.
Yeah.
The man has always been a racist. I'm
Right.
a black woman. So I already know I'm not his cup of tea. And we know that he hates black women who are intelligent, who are empowered. One thing, I'm a black woman that is, I wouldn't say empowered, but I have somewhat of an impact and
You
influence
are.
with this platform.
You are.
And making an impact to get
Yes.
across to people.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't be this man's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of us wouldn't, but and that's the thing. Like you say, we know we are aware of what's going on, but it's not so much of okay. Yes, we are aware of what's going on, but okay, in that awareness, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to become the problem. I'm going to become the solution. I'm not going to be reactive. I'm going to be proactive. So it's okay. Now I'm aware of, and that's the journey I've been on. This big awakening. This spiritual awakening and self awareness as well, and self awakening, understanding exactly who I am, and say, okay, now I've experienced enough too long, and what I'm saying, I've experienced the things. What I'm saying, I've down myself. I've put myself down. But now, and that's what we've done. We say, okay, it's always oh, the white man, the white man, the white man. But what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Are we allowing that to happen, or do we move further? Now you see a lot of people that's really rising up. Businessmen, we had our first black president, you know what I'm saying? We are really rising up. But even in that rising up, you know what I'm saying, we come to, again, at the same token, as we rise, you know what I'm saying, it's important to bring our culture together. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just leave my brother and my sister behind. You know what I'm saying? When I go, we go together. And that's what, and that's why I'm really honing into like really community develop, being involved in the community more, you know what I'm saying, seeing what's going on. And it's funny that we talk about the election coming up in November. So I just, applied to actually work the polls in November. So, just to kind of get, a better understanding, because honestly, I wasn't really into the politics, and I was the one that say, no, my vote
I,
didn't matter. It
I
doesn't
tried to
count.
back away from it too.
Yeah. Yeah, but this really get myself more involved because now I'm realizing the more I get myself involved, the more educated I get, the more knowledge I grasp. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to just allow and keep saying that. Okay, this is happening. This is happening. I had a conversation with a friend, and I was like, no, you know what I'm saying? Look at what you have. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have some friends that you see them on social media. You compare it. I'm not doing this. No, no, and it's not that, you know what I'm saying, because you have to realize that they may be going through some things as well, but the difference is they continue to go, they
Yeah.
continue to grow regardless of, and that's what, and like even with my journey, it's like sometimes even after the last interview, and I'll be honest, I'm transparent. I like to be a transparent, let people see your journey, so a lot of times if I do an interview or things like that, I'm talking or I'm speaking or anything like that, I always down myself. I was like, okay, where did I go wrong? Now I was like, okay, I said this, I said that. Okay, now I know how to navigate or what to do next. So it's not so much focusing on where I went wrong because I've been there and I'm like, okay, I'll never do it again. But now when that wisdom come in, it says I'll never do it like that again. And now I know, you know what I'm saying? I take every opportunity as a learning tool and as a growth experience. So it's not only trust, they say trust the process, I'm enjoying the
Yeah.
process. It may be hard, but now I know that anything that I deal with, anything that I experience throughout this process, I've learned and I've grown from it. So that's become my mantra, as I continue to grow and continues to connect with people such as you, you know what I'm saying, doing an amazing job. It's very inspirational to see this platform, and it's not so, because I see that, most of the interviews are like actors,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
getting to not just that part of who we are, you know what I'm saying, our skill set, or you know what we do. But it's actually grabbing a hold of the person that we are, not just the actor. Because at the end of the day, I'm not just an actor. I'm still Mark. I still, you know, I still have my bills. I still have this. I still have this. I got to take care. I still have to live life. So there's other things besides the actor Mark, but there's Mark himself. So Mark is still growing and in this journey and throughout this process. So I'm learning to just enjoy it. So I'm coasting. It's not easy, but it's, you know, it's still a learning curve because I'm still again growing from it and then connecting with people that, you know, that you can inspire and you know, say, hey, either you're going through that, I can assist. You know what I'm saying? I've been through there. I've been through that issue. I've been through that situation. I can help you through it, help you go through it. Or you can be able to be that support for somebody. Maybe I haven't experienced it, but we are, you know what I'm saying, we can support each other in that process or in that journey.
Absolutely. I'm going to read some of you guys' comments real quick. Hi, Salvage. In Bermuda, she says, ditto, Mark. And Salvage is going to be coming on the show pretty soon. I think sometime in the fall. She customized a fragrance to me. You guys know that I'm big on fragrances. And it's like a pillow fine fragrance mist thing where she put all of the notes that I loved in there, everything from
Wow.
lilac. So we're gonna talk about that when she comes on the show.
Mm.
And Redbone underscore 78 says that's good. I, yeah, transparency is key in this time more than
Yeah.
ever
Mm-hmm.
because it shows you where people stand
Right.
on certain things, and you
Mm-hmm.
guys know where I stand. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know people have had doubts and questions like where does she stand with it as it pertains to everything political.
Yes.
Um, you guys know now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that just a sidebar. Fragrances is my thing too. I love fragrances. So, yes, salvage. I will definitely be reaching out to you. I love that, and we could connect as well on those fragrances because I like and Redbone. That's my my best friend. That's my god baby's mom. So she's my biggest supporter, and I love. She knows. Yeah, she knows I love my fragrances.
And Salvage is a keep in mind she's a black woman in the UK, and she
Mm-hmm.
customizes fragrance. So when she reached out to me, because I we got into it through our one of my colleagues, one of my good supporters, Francis, beautifully diverse fashion hair. She recommended her as one of the guests on the show, and we
Okay.
have something set up coming on. So the fragrance that she made for me has notes of lavender, it has notes of vanilla, all of the things that I like to smell when you meet me in
Mm-hmm.
person. I know everybody's like, when is she coming out? We want to smell what it smells like. But giving you a description of it, if we had smell-o-vision, but I
Mm-hmm.
wanted lavender in
I
this
like
thing. I
that.
wanted vanilla. I wanted chamomile. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
patchouli. I wanted all of the dark woodsy
Mm-hmm.
type notes in this fragrance that she created
Wow.
for me.
Oh,
So
that's
it's not
amazing.
only just a fragrance where you can use on your bed linen, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also can be used on your body. So
Wow.
she customized it and she shipped it to me all the way from the UK. And it took a little while to get here because it's coming all the way from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got it, I was like, yes, this is it.
Wow.
And it lasts
Oh, wow.
all day long. And it really helps me relax at night. So that's how I come on and I stay so zen and
Yeah.
centered and
Mm-hmm.
not stressed out. Notes like that keep me relaxed, especially lavender. Lavender is supposed to help you relax. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. We just came out of Mental Health Awareness Month, which was June. So make sure that you guys are protecting your peace with everything that is going on in this cycle right now. Protecting your peace is definitely key. And we have
Mm-hmm.
someone who is coming on the show pretty soon. I think this month or either sometime in the fall. She's coming on and she's going to be giving us tips on what we can do to stay centered and
Mm-hmm.
just block out the chaos if we
Yeah.
need to, because there's going to be a lot going on for these next few couple of weeks in this news cycle, and it is important that you protect your peace because
Mm-hmm.
I know, yes, absolutely, Redbone.
Yeah.
Mental health is definitely a
It's.
priority, and I talk about it a lot here on this platform.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that and you're right, and even when you talk about mental health, you know, and that's what helped me when I say even with the process and deal, you know, not just dealing with it, but walking through it is, you know, that was my main focus. Is like really protecting my peace. I'm like now I'm at an age. I'm a no nonsense guy. you know, I love people. But at the same token, I'm very I'm very key on, you know what I'm saying, or very strong on really protecting my peace. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so important. Like I say, you deal with a whole lot of stuff. Like life. You deal with life all day. Every day life happens. But at the same token, I'm like now, if anything things happen, I give maybe 5.2 seconds and I just let it go. And sometimes that's something that you have to train yourself to do. It's not easy to do because we're so accustomed to certain things. I just actually just started back school too as well, so I'm going after my degree. So yeah, so that's another yeah.
Balance. That's
Yes.
that's another thing.
Hmm.
Balance. And
Yes.
even with me doing this platform, because I do Style by Stevie
Hmm.
5 days a week, every day, Monday through Friday. And Mark will tell you, you guys will get those notifications. People will say, "Oh, I watch, I
Yeah.
watch." You do it every day consecutively,
Hmm.
and I don't know what it is that gives me that drive, because there's days, like I say it all the time, that I don't want to get up in the morning
Hmm.
and do it, but I'm just like, I can't let the dolls down. I can't let my
Right.
guests down.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
Hmm.
And my mom sees the passion and the drive. Everybody around me see the passion and the drive that I have. And that's what keeps me
Hmm.
focused. That's what keeps me centered, is
Yeah.
bringing awareness to certain things
Oh,
and being a
absolutely.
light in these dark times, especially
Hmm.
in this climate that we're in right now. We need solace in time
Hmm.
of uncertainty more than
Absolutely.
ever.
Absolutely. And you're right about that balance. And that's one thing I had to learn too is balance, knowing how, and even when, like I say, when I decided to go back to school and finish my degree, I said, look, I'm gonna go after it because I have goals, saying I have achievements that, things that I desire for myself. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm doing the things that I love to do, that I enjoy doing. And when you get to that point, like I say, understanding yourself and what you like and what you don't like, and if anybody love you, they love you enough to say I'm loving myself. So whatever you either support me or it's fine. Now I ain't gonna cut you off. I, eventually they'll fall off, but I'm gonna keep moving. But and you know what I'm saying, and still continue to grow again in the things that I enjoy doing, that I love doing. And a lot of times it's not just being selfish, but it's being self-forward. And I'm not doing it, because now we have, like I say, you have these platforms that we are afforded, to actually be on and to be a light and inspiration as such as what you're doing. So now you're seeing that you're connecting, and now it's like when you see that these things that when you actually taking that time to find your peace, find your center, find your balance. It's like I see now that I noticed that things started changing, my surroundings started changing, the people that I'm connected to, excuse me, started changing. The law of attraction, they say what you give out is what you get back is what you give out. So when you give out positivity and you give, what I'm saying, and not just to give out, that, like I say, just giving it out, but it's starting within. I started within, so now I have the ability to do that. You know what I'm saying? I can love you just like I love myself. Now I can say that because a lot of times we find ourselves finding loving people to give the love that we desire, and sometimes we go wrong because we got these expectations and say. But at the end of the day, I'm like, no, I have to get to the point where I love me, in order to love you. If I can't do it for myself, I can't do it for you. And I'm unapologetically, what I'm saying, this is what I have to do in order for me to grow, to be a better person, to be an influencer. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't give you something that I'm not experiencing, or because sometimes
Right.
we can give a product that we know nothing about. So how I'm gonna give you something that I have absolutely nothing about? I don't know the feeling. I don't know what love looks like. But I'm telling you about love, but I don't know what it feels like. But I know against what society says it looks like, what it's supposed to feel like. But do you truly, really know what it looks like and what it really feels like, according to your perspective and not societal norms perspective or what we were taught?
I absolutely agree. And it starts within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I say this all the time, it's human nature. We give so much of ourselves to the world, of us being entertainers, me being this
Mm-hmm.
talk show host, you being an actor. We provide for the world,
Exactly.
entertainment for the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves as well too, because that comes first over anything.
Mm-hmm.
We are pouring into everybody else's cups, but
Right.
we have to make sure that we are pouring into our cups as well too. And that's why self-care is a thing. Everybody has their different ways of taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I like to take a walk around my yard, and sometimes the dogs will follow me outside, but I like to take a walk around the yard, and I'll edit, from my interviews, and I'll post that clip up. Just
Mm-hmm.
that little walk around the yard when it cools down, because it's super hot right now.
Yeah.
But
Right. Yeah,
I take that
absolutely.
moment and I just walk back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big yard, back and forth, back and forth. And it's clarity for me.
Yeah.
It's decompressing, because when we
Mm-hmm.
come home from doing whatever it is that we're doing, it could be running errands, it could be doing anything. You want to what? Decompress. So you
Right.
have to make sure that you decompress. And for me, every morning I get up, I have my conversation with God. I do my morning affirmations. It's important that you take time for yourself and pour into your mind, body, and soul.
That's right.
And the reason why I come on every day happy, amazing,
Yeah.
beautiful looking, glowing, all of these things is because I take time for myself and I
Yes.
pour into myself. It can even be, doing all those interviews throughout
Mm-hmm.
the week. I make sure that I stop on a weekend, on that weekend off, and I take time off for myself. And I
That's
pamper
right.
myself and pour into
Mm-hmm.
myself. Because that's key. If you
It
don't
is.
pour back into you, it's like, okay, you gotta, what happens when you've drunk in all the water? It's like the little water fountain thing
Mm-hmm.
that has the water upside down, and
Yep.
you've drunken all of the water out of it. You have to refill it, right?
Exactly.
So that's what we have to do with our
Mm-hmm.
bodies. We have to refill our bodies and pour back into ourselves. And for
Absolutely.
me, it sometimes becomes exhausting doing this platform, but I
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I regroup,
Right.
rejuvenate, and replenish my
Mm-hmm.
body, mind, spirit, and soul.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and like you say, you have to find things that works for you and say it's okay. Because I'm the type of person, I'm always constantly on the go, constantly on the go. So now I take rest. I take rest. If I feel like sleeping all day, I do it because I know I need it. Because at one point I would feel, because I'm so used to going, and I would feel guilty if I take that time to rest. But I was like, now I know that, because sometimes you don't know you need something until you actually get it.
Yes.
So I was like, well, look, I'm if whatever needs to be done, if it's not an emergency, nobody's dying, anything like that, it can wait. It's not that, but I had to do that and understanding again what works for you. Because when we talk about, and it's all a part of mental health, because that's how do we stay mentally sane if we don't pour into ourselves? Because you can't pour out of an empty vessel. Like you say, if it's that water bottle is empty, there's nothing else. It's dry. So we have to replenish ourselves. And how do we do that? Find those ways. You know what I'm saying, to do it. Take a time. Take a moment. What works for you. If you need to read a book, go for a walk. Like you say, I know it's hot because it's extremely hot. Because that was my next thing. I was like, I need to want to start walking. And when I decided to start walking, I'm like, it's like 90 degrees out there. So, but I'm gonna get it.
Yes.
But yeah, so what I do is sometimes I'm like in a three-story house, so I'll walk up and down the steps, just to get that. Or sometimes I cook. I love to cook, so that's my way of. It's always been therapeutic for me when I'll sit, because it's funny, because I'll sit around here, I'll find something, and I just think about my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Which God rest her soul. But I'll sit here and cook, and I'll put some stuff together, and I'll just think about her, and it's just a smile. It's just enlightening for me. So that's been my motivation when I feel like, because once I start cooking, I'll find everything here, fix me a whole Thanksgiving meal. But it's therapeutic for me. So finding those things that works for you to help, one, the balance, like you said, and then clear your mind. Because we have so much going on, the noise, the life, again, we have so much going on. But finding those things, taking care of yourself, even if you can't, sometimes we may not have the finances, but little things that makes you feel good, that's going to help you out along the way, or throughout your day. Just taking that moment, step back, breathe, and say, hey, I got this. And just grabbing a hold, and like you say, understanding exactly who you are and what you need, and not what the expectations of people put on you, or make you feel like what you need. Because sometimes we get so caught in that, what I'm saying, because this is what the expectation, this is what we think people need, this is what, giving out so much we do. We give out so much, but we never give
human
back, and we
nature.
expect sometimes people to give it to us. But if we can't give it to ourselves, then because if I can't give it to myself, and that's the thing I had to realize too. If I can't give it to myself, I can't expect nobody else to do it. So how can I have those high expectations for people, but don't have the same high expectations for myself? Make it make sense. But but it's like I say, sometimes it's the norm. This is what we've been accustomed to doing. This is the way we've been accustomed to living for so long. We've been doing it. So now it's taking that time and strategically saying, hey, little steps at a time and watch it work.
Absolutely. And another thing, you only get one body, so listen to
Mm-hmm.
your body. Please make sure you are getting rest. Make sure that you rest and recuperate and rejuvenate your body because it's important. Again, we can't just keep going like
Right.
cars, but every now and again, you have to refill those cars with what? Gas. You have to fill your car
Or
back up
all
with
that.
gas.
Mm-hmm.
So you make sure that you are taking care of your body and listen to your body. I remember I did one show back in, I want to say, 2019 or 2018. I had a real bad sinus infection. Did the whole show.
Wow.
Everything was looking great, hair, makeup, everything, you know. And then when I got done with that, I really felt it. I was out for a couple weeks after that show. I said, never again.
Yeah.
I fought through it. I didn't want people to know because I always try to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's women. We always try to be tough through
Yeah.
things. But I did that whole entire show. Did that whole entire show, kept everybody entertained, but I was out for a couple weeks after that
Mm-hmm.
last show. That last show was my last
Yeah.
show because I didn't take care. I didn't want to listen. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I was just stepping on the scene, coming out. The show was taking off or whatever. But make sure that you take time for yourself. If somebody
Mm-hmm.
tells you to listen to your body, and even my mom would get on me about that. Even though we're grown, our moms will still tell us
Right.
things, and I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you should have listened to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you don't listen. I told you to take a break. I told you to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't listen, me being stubborn, hard headed at the time. I think I was like 20 something. Didn't want to listen to what she was saying. I'm just like, okay, I got this. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't have it. I was out, that was a couple of weeks.
Girl, being
So,
wrong.
yes. So it pays to listen to wisdom from other people.
it,
It doesn't cost a thing.
it
So,
doesn't. It doesn't. You right, and you're right because we've all been there. It's the same thing. I did a show, and this was like maybe a 3 hour show we did, and I got sick before then. Man, got through the show. I came home, crashed, passed out. I was like, you know what? Because I found myself doing. Sometimes I'll do like 2, 3 shows back to back, and people tell me something. Oh no, you need to calm. I
take
got
a
this. I
break,
know what I'm doing.
slow it down.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like you say, listening to your body, and now I'm like, now it's okay if I say, hey, I'm not really not feeling well. I'm not going to push through it, because not just women, but us men, and you'll never know. Like my people, they say, because I'll work, I'll come and do stuff, and they was like, we'll never know that you're going through anything. And I was like, because I'm not going to show it. I'm here to get the job done. Once it's done,
Right.
then yeah. But yeah, I have to make that conscious decision to say that, okay, now enough is enough. You can only push yourself but so far. And now, like I said, my son, he's on me. Now, Dad, you're not supposed to do that. I'm out there fixing the car, trying to change the tire. No, good and well, I shouldn't be out there. Say, God, he said, Dad, now if that lug nut don't move the first time, you just leave it alone. Just go ahead and call somebody. But yeah, so he stays on me. So I have people, when you have a community that holds you accountable, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful thing. Like I say, when you become that person, what I'm saying, really pointing to you, you're gonna see that other people are pointing to you as well. And it's genuine. What I'm saying, it's gonna be a different connection than it was when, because I'm like this the experiences that I've been in, because sometimes you question yourself, why am I connecting with this person? Why am I connecting? Why that's not me. But then it's like I had to that introspect. I had to take a look inside and see where I'm going wrong, what I'm not doing or what I'm doing, and and say, okay, Mark, let's go ahead and deal with this. Let's get to the, like, even some of the issues that I've dealt with, like some of the things that, like my dad, when you're growing up, some things that you experience from your parents, you find yourself doing that. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, no, let me So it's like all of that, all because he's the type of person that go to until he's like now his knee. I'm like, Dad, okay, you need to go down, but understanding that when you have that community of people that's there to support you, you know what I'm saying, regardless of where what I'm saying where you at, and it's okay because sometimes we feel like we let people down if we can't. But understanding that, what I'm saying, when you have people that really support you, they understand that when you can't and still support, and if you can't, I'm gonna pick it up for you. Where can I help you out? And that's where even when it comes to our community working together, you know what I'm saying, if you can't do something, where can I come in and help you out and uplift you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important. Sometimes we have to swallow our pride for things and ask people for help. Like me, I've always been the one out of all of my siblings, because I have four brothers, I have two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all of my siblings, I've always been the one that's tried to be fiercely independent
Mm-hmm.
or somewhat feisty, sort of a rebel. But
Sound
I've
like
always went to the beat of my own drum. And
mm-hmm.
my mom would tell me to do something, and it's just like, okay, do it your way. And then you find out you do it the other way. But then sometimes our way would be different. But you never know unless you sit. And again, it goes back to talking to your elders,
Mm-hmm.
listening to your elders. My grandmother would give me advice, and I'm thankful to have her. She's here at 81 years
Wow.
old. And you guys know that she just got out the hospital not too long ago, and I touched on it on the show sometime last week.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness, I think it was last month or the previous month, one of the previous months, one of the shows. But I touched on it about her just getting out the hospital and what she told the nurse in there, bringing her a steak and everything. But yes, she has the spirit of a 20-year-old. But I'm
I
thankful
see.
to have her here, blessed
Mm-hmm.
to have her here. I just heard my mom talking with her on the phone not too long ago. So she's doing well,
Good,
doing a
good,
whole lot better.
awesome.
And I call and I talk to her for advice sometimes, or if prayer, whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
Your elders will be there to help.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I was like, yeah, because even in losing my grandmother, it's still, because sometimes we still grieve the loss of somebody, of a loved one, and she was like really dear to my heart. But I know that, I there's always a part of her, what I'm saying. So even though she's gone, I still haven't completely missed her because there's still some things that I like I say I see myself doing. I was like, oh my God, I think about my grandmother, just smile, or I'd be at a church service or something like that, and I'll hear him, or even on the radio, I'll hear him, and it immediately, brings me back to my grandmother when she used to sing, in church singing hymns. So it's that, that enlightenment that really, keeps me going and say, hey, because sometimes it's like even when I think about something, you have people that you may have lost that still have that impact, what I'm saying, that still talks to you and talk you through certain things. So yes, I don't look at the loss, but I look at the gain. What did I gain from it? Not just what I lost. So I haven't lost her. I've gained her. So I've
And
gained an
she's
angel.
watching over you. You feel
Yes,
like you have an angel. And
absolutely.
I ask people this: if you lose someone, just realize to know that there's someone that is watching over you. My sister just celebrated what would have been her 37th to 38th birthday. Her birthday was on the 29th, and I talk about her all the time about
Mm-hmm.
losing a sister and what that meant to me. June 29th, she just celebrated her birthday not too long ago. So it's been bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
But she's watching down over us in spirit.
Yeah,
So believe you, to anybody who's lost somebody during a difficult time, whatever in that point in your life, just know that they are watching down over you. And
absolutely.
I know my sister, my grandmother, my cousin, my family, friends, they are all watching over me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that you are divinely protected, you are divinely protected.
Yes,
Those
absolutely.
one your angels are watching over you, and they're all
Mm-hmm.
lined up right there guarding you. So
Absolutely.
it's just be like, and then you go through certain things in your career, and it could be giving you a sign,
Mm-hmm.
like, hmm, this is, how can I say it? What's the word? Is this deja vu? Shall I say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where it's just like all of these things are coming together. Those angels
Mm-hmm.
working their magic.
Absolutely.
So again, just know that you have people. Those the ones. If you lost someone, they are watching over you.
Absolutely.
They are there, and their
Mm-hmm.
spirit is inside of you too. Because I would do certain things, and I asked one of my guests, this another activist on our platform. I said, "Do you ever go back and watch yourself on in one of your films, and you point out something that you feel that your mom would say, or your dad would say, or just a mannerism, anything?" And they'll be like, yeah. And even with me, I go back and I watch my interviews because me and my mom look so much alike. And I
Wow.
get it all the time.
Mm.
So, sound just alike. If you were to pick up the phone, you couldn't tell.
Wow.
So, my goodness.
Mm.
But I said, do you ever find yourself doing things that your mom would do or your dad would do? And I'd just be like, yes. And it's just like, oh my God, this is scary. I'm turning into my parent.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you realize these things. Even
Mm-hmm.
with me hosting this platform, I would go back and watch some of my interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like, that does sounds like something my mom would say or something my mom would do in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. So I catch it all the time. You gotta catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You do. And it's funny because people tell me I look like my mom too, but it was weird. She saw when you say that, she saw one of my we did a mini series some time ago, and I played the antagonist, and my mom was immediately, she called me after that. She said, "Son, I didn't like you playing that part." Because it was like an abusive moment. She was like, mm. I said, I ain't like you playing that part. She said, I know it's just acting. I said, I know, Mom. But yeah, but you do see some of those things may come out because a lot of times in your characters, sometimes you may emulate something because a lot of times it may be something that you've experienced. And sometimes it's easier even when you're doing your character development, some things you may notice that within that character themselves is something that you've experienced, some things that you walk through or you've seen. So that's even as an actor, a lot of times that's how I hone into most of my characters that I portray. You know what I'm saying? Some of them it may be something out of the norm, but there's something about that character that I can emulate because I've seen it or have experienced it firsthand. So yeah, it's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any questions, fashion dolls, in this question hour? Now, do you guys have any questions? Are you guys enjoying the conversation before we wrap up? This is such a great conversation, and
Yes.
I want you all to take something away from this again. Do not be discouraged. Again, take it to the polls this November more
Mm-hmm.
than ever. It is now the time for us to arm ourselves with
Absolutely.
knowledge, to become more aware, because now that I've realized the policies that they are trying to put into place, some they've already started working on and stripping away, and it's just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we I got to do something about this.
Yeah.
It's time to buckle up and be serious
Yeah.
now. So that's why I'm just all of a sudden you're seeing all the information, all the news, all of this. I'm giving it to you, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it in my own way because I still have to protect my mental health and peace
Right.
from scrolling down every day looking at it. It's overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So sometimes I just have to put down the phone and stop looking at it. And I was telling my mom that telling it to her. She said this man is racist. She said the same thing basically that I was saying, but she said it in a way that was a little bit friendlier than I would say it. I can't say it here
Right.
on thing, but yeah, she said a little way bit more friendly than I would, but uh, everything she said was spot on and accurate. I agree with
Wow.
it. He is a
Yeah.
racist, so it's important this November. Thank you, Redbone, for enjoying the
Yes.
conversation. It's needed during these
Mm-hmm.
times
Yes.
because we're in times of uncertainty, and even for me, I'm uncertain, and
Mm-hmm.
I think about it every night. It keeps me up a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
wake up worrying about it. You
Yeah.
scroll down and look at the news, and it makes you uncertain. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, if you have to unplug, unplug. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very because social media can be, what I'm saying, it can be a downfall for
It
us.
can
And
take your
like we were talking about
energy.
earlier, that self comparison, we're looking at what everybody else is doing. Even as actors, sometimes you say, I've started with this person, what I'm saying, and I see them growing. But a lot of times, even with that, we see a lot of, that comparison and not just the news, everything that's going on, but it's so much going on then it's all in how we take it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, no, if I know that it's going to be offensive or it's going to put me into a certain state of mind, then why even put myself in that position? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we put ourselves in that certain position. And then we get mad at everybody else because we put ourselves in that position. But no, what I'm saying? I had the conscious mindset to say I'm gonna do it. So now I have the conscious mindset to say I'm not gonna do it. So we have that option, to say no or yeah. So it's up to us, what I'm saying, if we really want to, find keep filling ourselves or our mental spaces with that. Is we're going to fill it with negativity or we're going to fill it with the positivity? That's the question.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Salvage says it was a such a treat listening to both of
Oh,
you. I
thank you.
love how much you have emphasized the importance of self-care. It's important.
It is.
Your mental health is sacred.
Hmm.
It is very sacred, and it is a very powerful gem. So it's
Hmm.
important that you protect it, because there are days when you're going to turn on the news, you're going to see a lot of things that are going to be going on. Like, again, I said, I'm just going to keep stressing it and emphasizing it. Make sure that you are tuning out. Power off. If you got to turn off your phone for a minute, do what you got to do.
Hmm.
But make sure you keep your family on alert.
Right.
But if you have to, unplug from that moment,
Hmm.
make sure you do it. Just
Hmm.
turn a blind eye to it. Find something that brings you joy, that brings you happiness. And for me, what brings me happiness is fashion,
Hmm.
dressing. That brings me happiness.
Yeah.
Another thing that brings me happiness is writing. I
Mm.
write a lot. When I'm not doing this platform, I'm always writing. I put it in my diary. I have a diary, so I keep a diary.
Oh.
Everything that I'm feeling, I jot it down every day,
Mm.
right after the show. Before I go
Oh.
to bed, pray, get up in the morning, talk to God, pray, and then I do my affirmations. That's
Hmm.
how I stay centered.
Yeah.
Everybody has different ways of heels bring me happiness. The same here, girl. Same here.
Yeah.
I,
She is shoe fanatic. That. Yeah.
it,
We working on that.
fashion. If it ties into fashion, yes.
Hmm.
Same here, girl. I love heels. I love dresses. I love gowns. I, I I love couture. All things couture. That brings it's an escape for me.
Hmm.
It's an escape from the real world, from
Yeah.
reality. So seeing all of these different designs and structures and how creative people can be, that brings me happiness. That
Hmm.
brings me joy. And then seeing the color also enhances your mood. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're eating your fruits and vegetables.
Hmm.
Color enhances your mood. And what color do we think of that brings happiness and joy to people? Yellow.
Hmm.
Yellow is the first one that I can think of.
Yeah.
Then blue, then red. When I think of red, I think of rage. But I also think of love too, because
Hmm.
Valentine's Day, you got pink and red. So I mean, it's different things.
Yeah.
Find out what brings you joy. Find out what is your aha moment, shall I say.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
for me, my joy is fashion,
Hmm.
dressing, uh, going through different textures, different fabrics, different designs, flipping through magazines, fashion magazines, scrolling through Pinterest. Pinterest now has it so that you can create collages.
Hmm.
And I've already assembled like 5 of those things with different
Wow.
fashions of things that are going to be on trend for this season. So find things like that to do. Puzzles also exercise your mind, because when you exercise your mind and you keep your mind educated, a person who is educated is a dangerous person. You can't tell them
Hmm.
nothing. You cannot tell them nothing.
Yeah.
They're on top of it. So that's why, again, I recommended these books in case you're just coming in. The Color Complex, we touched on colorism,
Hmm.
and then The Skin I'm In.
Hmm.
Again, I read this book in middle school. As you can see, it's
Wow.
worn a little bit on the sides, but it's a great book. It touches
Hmm.
on colorism.
Wow.
So become more aware to what's going on, and
Hmm.
anti-blackness, all of these things that keep us as black people divided in this
Hmm.
country. And
Yeah.
salvage is in the UK, so it's a little bit easier over there. But in the USA, down here, it's getting
Yeah.
worse. I mean, things are
Absolutely.
getting somewhat better. We're seeing some things change, some policies change, but some things they're taking away right up under
Right.
our noses.
Hmm.
So make sure that you are staying aware. Again, a dangerous person is a educated
Right.
person.
Hmm.
Remember
And
that.
staying ahead too.
So yeah,
Yeah. And definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And staying ahead too. And like I say, just becoming aware, and not just, not only that, but when we become aware, okay, not now that I'm aware of this, what do I do with it? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can become aware of stuff, and you know what I'm saying, we get stuck right there. But now that I become aware of it, what do I do with it next? And how do I make it better?
Make
Or like I say,
change.
stay right. And that education is very key. It is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Salva says the power of scent and aromatherapy, which is very relaxing, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
led me to my current journey. Dealing with trauma is like fighting an invisible beast. Yes, it's like a demon is chasing you. And I've heard so many stars from, I think, Janet Jackson, Tupac, And it was somebody else that said they feel like a demon or a dark entity or a spirit is chasing them. You can
Mm-hmm.
feel that way too.
Yeah.
It can be a guilt demon. It can be anything. I know I have guilt demons, things
Mm-hmm.
I've done I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
But we all have some sort of dark entity, or as Salvage mentioned in the comments, a beast. But
Mm-hmm.
scents can make you think of
Yeah.
certain things. Like for me, like I said, lavender makes you relax. Um, for me, when I want to smell happy and joyful, I think of vanilla. Lavender helps me relax. When I'm feeling sexual or sexy, shall I say, I would go for raspberries and whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the different things that I like. So you have to find what works for you, what brings you joy. And scents do that. They have a power to do that. Just like color, when we see color through our eyes, it
Mm-hmm.
does something to us. It
Yeah,
embarks
absolutely.
a certain emotion in us. So you guys, I posted an outfit one day, and it was on Facebook. I always post my look of the day, and someone is because one of the colors that I kept wearing was blue, and it is
Mm-hmm.
like this is official. Someone commented, "This is official. This is your color."
Mm-hmm.
And I say, "Yeah." When I think of blue, I think of water because
Mm-hmm.
water is what is tranquil.
Right.
And what was so crazy is that the dress had fringe, so it tied in perfectly. You
Mm-hmm.
guys remember the dress? Yeah, the one that caught the eyes.
Right.
It was fringe everywhere, and I had the black bob haircut.
Wow.
That one, it made me think of water. They're just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's official. Blue is your color, and if it's not blue, then it's green.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some bad sides to these colors, and then there's some good sides
Right.
to these colors. When I
Right.
think of green, I think of emerald, but
Mm-hmm.
some people think of
Right.
envy. So you have to be aware of that as well too. Again,
Mm-hmm.
just like with red, you think of rage. Then some people think of love. So it can be used in two different ways. But when I wear
Mm-hmm.
red, I think of
Right.
love. I think of passion. I think of desire.
Mm-hmm.
I think of all of these things
Wow.
when I wear
That's
these colors.
that's good.
Black,
And I had
go ahead,
yeah,
I'm
and I
sorry.
had a friend. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying black. Black if I'm wearing black, like today I'm wearing black, but it has a twist on it. But the
Mm-hmm.
dress that I'm wearing has different colors in it.
Mm-hmm.
So because the very first season, I want to start out. My colors were gray, black, and white. I didn't really want to wear color.
Mm-hmm.
I did not really want to wear color because I'm just like I'm not
Yeah.
feeling it. But now it's just like I'm out of my shell, fully blossomed, and you get to see me wear different colors and experiment with different colors, and it's just like colors and really enhance your
Yeah.
mood, your mental health, not just in fashion, but in vegetables. It can
Mm-hmm.
be a drink, it can be anything. It makes you feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I had a friend. I had a friend of mine. She's that, and that she introduced me to colors as well. And her motto was "Color brings change," and I was like, wow, because I would do like mostly earth tones at one point in my life, and then I
Same
started,
here.
getting out of, colors, and then and then it was when you talk about scents and colors. And I have this thing, like for me with scents, like I would wear certain scents with certain colors. So certain scents go with certain colors, and that's how, and that was the thing for me when I started like really getting into, really experiencing and exploring different colors. For me now it's like okay now because if you look at like a blue, I would do maybe like soft something, a little floral or things like that. Black, you do something more spicy. Earth tone, you do more citrusy type or wooded scent. So yeah. So it's like now I would do colors with, I mix my how I determine what cologne I wear depends on what color I'm wearing. So and that's been the thing for me, and it's like okay, and it does. It changes your whole mood when you really find those things that makes you happy. That what I'm saying, that brings light to who you are. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
And self
keep
care
it.
is important.
I agree 100%. Make sure that you guys are protecting your peace and indulging in the things that bring you happiness, the things that make you joy, that make you feel good about yourself as well too. More
Mhm.
than ever, with everything that's going to be coming up, again, see and don't see. That's what my mom always told me. She
That's
says,
good.
see the negative. Yes, you see it, but have faith that there's going to be a great outcome.
That's
And
good.
I pray. All we can do is pray. She told me, pray, talk to God, put God first in everything that you do, whatever it may be. And with having this platform. She said, "Don't ever get too big with you. Don't ever get a big head because I see so many people get a big head in this industry
Mm-hmm.
because mom knew nothing
Yeah.
about the industry." And she said, "Don't get a big head and start acting all sedity and high and up there." Because you remember the scene in What's Love Got to Do with It where Jennifer Lewis asked Angela, "Anime, what are you going to do with all that money?" So
Mm-hmm.
that was the time similar to this conversation that me and my mom had.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't about that. It was just about, being humble
Right.
and staying humble. Again, I tell y'all
Mm-hmm.
this all the time. I will always be that same. I wear a lot of couture fashions. Yes, I love to look like a supermodel coming on the show every day. But I will always be that same down to earth girl from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That little old Bamberg, South Carolina.
That's good.
So, again, stay true to who you are and stay
Absolutely.
humble, stay
Absolutely.
aware, as Mark said, stay aware and alert to what's going on. My mom told me and my brothers and sisters, see and don't
Mm-hmm.
see. Because we could be going in for a test for school, anything,
That's good.
and it's just like, what if I fail? What if I fail? What
Mm-hmm.
if I fail? She said, see and don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that you
That's
will
good.
pass. And if you study for this test, you're going to pass this test.
Mm-hmm.
The same way I did with my cosmetology exam. Before we go, that's the last story. Uh, um, I failed it the first time. I failed the other part because it's a part where you go in hands-on,
Mm-hmm.
practical, and then there's the theory where you go in this room and it's like the cubicles. And I remember I cried all the way back to the career center
Wow.
with the other girls. The other girls cried. They were sitting up there calling their parents. Oh, I passed! I passed! I got my license! Da, da, da. I passed both parts. I cried all the way back. But
Wow.
then my father said, "You're going back a second time. How much it is for you to take this test?" And at the time, it was what, 266. So we went, and I took that test, and I will never forget the day that I passed that test,
Wow.
y'all. I went in there and almost everything. I was so relaxed in the car. I don't know what was playing on the radio, but my girlfriend also didn't do so well on the test. So she was in the car with me. That made me feel better too, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else is right there with me because
Right.
we were really close. And all the way there, I studied in the car. But when it came time for me to get in that room, I'm just like, okay, apply everything that you remember to this. So when I got in that room, and it was cuticles, so you have people in there for different things. Like you had some going in there for barbering, some for electrician, some
Okay.
for cosmetology. I'll do
Mm-hmm.
cosmetology. So
Okay.
when I went in there and I took the exam for cosmetology, and I passed it, and I got my results because they take a picture of you when you come out the room. You have to sit in the chair. See how I'm turned
Mm-hmm.
down, like with my profile and everything. You have to sit in the chair, and then it's like this little camera, and it takes a picture of you, and it will let you know your results if you passed or if you
Oh
failed.
wow.
When that woman told me, y'all, let me see if I can find this. When that woman told me that I had
Yes.
passed, I don't think it's up there. Let me see. Ooh, the book should be up here somewhere. Oh, I see it, I see it, I see it. All right. When she told me, oh my goodness, it's in here somewhere. Right here. Okay. So you see it? Yeah, that is me. So when I
Oh
went in
wow.
there and I took the class, yes, you see me doing a little over the shoulder, and I still do it now.
uh,
But yes, when it said that I passed,
love
oh
it.
my goodness,
Wow.
I asked her if I could scream, and she said, "No, no, no, baby, you can't." Okay, so I wait until I got down the third flight of stairs, almost tripping down the stairs,
Wow.
and I got outside and I just let loose. I screamed so
Wow.
loud, and I hugged my instructor, and I'm just like, "I made it, I made it, I made it." So it just goes to show you that you're gonna, again, see and don't see
Mm-hmm.
is what my mom was talking about. I think one of the first people that I called was my aunt, my mom's sister, and then I called my mom. It should have been in that order, but
Yeah.
after that, my dad bought me pizza. You guys know that pepperoni pizza is one of my guilty
Mm-hmm.
pleasures. I remember that also too. Um, and so many other great things came along after that. So yes, I'm skilled to do hair, and I do my own nails. So I have the luxury of not being able to sit in a nail salon all day. And I know a lot of y'all just like, yeah, I do it all.
That's
I do it
that's
all.
how you do it.
Host this platform, do my mom's hair, I do my hair, and sometimes I do my own makeup. And I just, skill. You gain skill and knowledge
Mm-hmm.
over the years for these
Mm-hmm.
things. So again, this is what my mom was saying: see and don't see. You
Right.
never know unless you take that chance or you try. or you study. And I
Mm-hmm.
studied all the way there, and this was the end result.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna use that one if you don't mind. I'll give you credit for it. I'll give Mama credit for
Yes.
it. I
My
love
mom
it.
was saying, see and don't
And
see.
don't
That's what
see.
she always told me. And my
Wow.
brothers, because my brother went into the military
Mm-hmm.
and came out successfully. Now he's a dad. We saw them just yesterday, and I saw my nephew. So seeing him as a parent is different. I
Mm-hmm.
know where y'all going, and I'm gonna let y'all know right now. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Don't put the
Mm-hmm.
baby fever on Miss
Right.
Stevie. No, no,
Mm-mm.
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Absolutely.
I'm not ready for it. I don't mind being auntie, but listen,
Right. Right.
right now, this is my baby. This is my
Mm-hmm.
focus. And when you have a passion and a focus, you go for
Right.
that. And I tell y'all that all the time. What do I tell y'all? Live life through what? Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a passion or a desire to go for career goal wise, create your vision board.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did what, two vision boards this past few years. One's from 2023, and I still have it up, and then the other one is for this year. I've already planned ahead. I'm like, okay, what do I want in the future for myself? And almost everything on that vision board, let me tell you, came true and into fruition. Everything is just like, okay, my imaginary check mark.
Yeah.
This happened here, this happened here, this happened here. So it's just like everything is coming to me full circle.
Yeah.
Blessings will come to you each and every
Right.
day. If you, as Mark mentioned in the beginning of our interview and conversation, if you put it out there in the universe, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was 35 when I had my daughter. You have time. I'm 30. I ain't ready for kids yet. I'm not ready. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Woo.
I'm perfectly fine being auntie. I love being auntie.
Like you can send them back, right?
Yes. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love my family. But
Mm-hmm.
this is my baby
Absolutely.
that I birthed and gave to the world, styled by Stevie. So,
Yes. And
yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
And I
Yes. Amazing.
appreciate it. So,
Amazing.
before we close out this amazing conversation, Mark, what is next in your chapter? You've got your documentary that is going to be coming out, Amazon, Tubi. What is next in your chapter?
And that's a good question, and that's what we're working on too. Because I'm still, in this journey, still, because it's like you say, we put it out there, now it's like actually happening.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh wow, because I'm like,
it's real.
okay, it's happening now. So now it's because even though I love the theater, love doing movies, like I say, I really want to get more into coaching and things like that, consulting more so on that level because I love giving back. I love what I do, and wherever it takes me, I'm willing to go with the journey. But definitely, I'm really seeing as far as where it's going, finishing my degree, and really honing in on focusing on building me and building what all what I have all inside of me. But yeah, I definitely want to get more into actually giving back. More community involvement. That's really my focus now. It's really because it's like you say it's important. Like you say, you see your nephews and see where they're
Yeah,
going. We want to grab a hold of that. And like you say, as far as staying humble, that was my thing. I didn't want to get too far in, too far out there, and what I'm saying, and I'm like, no, and that's why sometimes I have to catch myself. We do because it's so easy to get caught up in that. But yeah, I would say for next for me is like one, really seeing where this go, and just growing with it more so. But I am really geared into really going more into community involvement and really grabbing a hold of this with our youth before it goes any further.
absolutely. Absolutely, especially the black youth,
Yes.
because what they're doing at the colleges, the universities, they're banning books, they're doing all of these things more than ever. So I'm proud of you for doing that. As well as myself, it made me kind of open up my eyes when I seen Taraji P. Henson touch on it at the BET Awards. And then she touched on it on The View when it was Juneteenth. We just celebrated Juneteenth not too long ago. And it made me kind of become aware. And then my colleague Bubs the Guide also touched on it as well too. He touched
Hmm.
on it on his channel about how dangerous this policy is. 900 pages, if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot that they want to take away.
Hmm.
So we got to make sure that we continue to fight for it. And as Salvin mentioned, build a
Hmm.
legacy. Also,
Right.
Alan
Yes.
Yankee, that is 100% true. You have to believe what you put on your vision board. Just don't
Yes.
write one. And I do. I believe everything that I put on
Mm-hmm.
there. One of the words that I put on there was vision,
Mm-hmm.
was believe. Those
Mm-hmm.
are two of the words that I put on there, believe and vision.
Mm-hmm.
And my vision has come full circle.
Yes.
Full circle. I just had
Absolutely.
one of the biggest interviews of my career, and that would be with Marcos on the One Mike Night podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And people are still talking about that conversation. They saw the authenticity. They saw a different side of me because I really don't share that part, the dark, dark, dark
Yeah.
parts. I share the happier parts, but not the
Mm-hmm.
dark parts. And I appreciate Marcos for allowing me to come on his platform. And we have something else planned coming up this month,
Okay.
and I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
uh, for him allowing me to come on his platform and tell my story from childhood up until now, being this 30-year-old grown woman, full circle having this talk show, and things are coming to me so fast. So
Mm-hmm.
many opportunities, so many
Yeah.
blessings. Just like, oh my God, hello, where have you been, my life? But it's all thanks to putting God first, as my mom
Yeah.
said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Just really grabbing a hold of it. And you doing it. And that's good that you like say we have people that we're now connected to. You know what I'm saying? We can share that and be able to share our journey. Because sometimes, if people can't walk with you through the journey, you can't walk with me through my success. And that's where I'm at now. And it's people now wants to see more authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Realness. They want to see that, you have salvages like you say out there, but you have the ones that's really, when you have that connection and you have that network and that community that you
Yeah,
build, that learning to build, and like Salvage said, building the legacy. That's what we're doing, and it's because it's not just about us, but it's about what we can, what I'm saying, give. Because I'm now we're giving it, and now we've got that balance where now I can still give and still give to myself. I can give to you. Now I'm at that point now in my life where I learned that balance. I can give to you what I'm giving to myself now. Yeah.
absolutely. And thank you, Redbone. Yes, and a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and I want you guys to take away from that. From today's final thought, it comes from one of my favorite singers, Celine Dion.
Hmm.
She says, life imposes things on you that you can't control, but you still have the choice of how you're going to live through this. So
Hmm.
life is going to throw so many curveballs and obstacles. I mean, you have to walk through an obstacle course to
Yeah.
get where you're at this point in your life. And I've been through so many. I've had people tell me no. I've had people close doors
Yeah.
in my face. But that's all of us in the business. You have to take these opportunities and build your betterment for the better.
Thanks.
And for me, it was going on and creating my platform,
Hmm.
doing it in a way where people would hear my voice, hear my opinion on things. Because I've always been quiet at
Hmm.
some point in my life. And I was teased on. I was picked on a
Hmm.
lot. But then my high school years, I started to speak out more, and that was the beginning of me saying, okay, if I'm going to speak up for myself, there are people out there just like me who are in a vulnerable state who can't really speak up for themselves. They
Right.
need a
Right.
voice for them. And
Exactly.
that's how Style by Stevie kind of got formed.
Wow.
So from there, you have to take moments like that, these obstacles that get in your way, that hinder you, that try to block you from getting where you're at a certain point in your life, and you take those and you put them in your puzzle, and you just keep building that legacy.
Hmm.
As someone said in the comments, I think it was Salvage. Salvage said legacy.
Hmm.
So we talk a lot about legacy. All of those obstacles that have been thrown towards you, you take all of those stepping stones and you build to where you need to go. And for
Absolutely.
me, I protect my peace. That's one thing. I love God. God loves me, and my family loves me. I'm divinely loved, surrounded by love, and that's what makes me happy. And when you are
Hmm.
divinely protected and divinely loved, nobody can stop you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. That's good.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, gonna close out with that. Where can everyone follow you and check you out?
So you can follow me here on Instagram at DA underscore spoken, SPOKEN, the number one. Or you can follow me on, what is it, Facebook. I'm still getting used to these platforms. Facebook is Mark Robinson, And also, you can follow me on YouTube, Mark the Actor, as well. I have some reels out there. But yeah, mostly I'm mostly here on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow me there as well.
All right, Fashion Dolls. And it was always a pleasure catching up with you, Mark. I had
Absolutely.
such a great time. And we got to do this again. So I would love to have you back on again
Awesome.
in the fall.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Just let me know. I'm
I
here for
sure
it.
will. And I'll send you those deets on over.
Yes.
So tomorrow, Fashion Dolls, we have Courtney Grant joining me. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4. And this will be uploaded on Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. So make sure you head on over, subscribe to Mark's channel, subscribe to my channel, Style by Stevie on YouTube. And I will see you guys then. All right?
All
Take
right.
care.
Miss Stevie, take care. Pleasure.
You too.
All right. Thanks.